Good day, everybody. Welcome to Gear Live, episode 14, and we have the usual suspects once again. That is Garth and Jared. How's guys?
Hey, what's up?
Cool, man. And well, what have you guys been playing, Garth? What have you been up to this week?
Late last week, most of this week, been playing Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D on the 3DS. We'll get into the details of it a little later, I think, but yeah, review's up. Check it out. It's a fantastic game. Love it to bits.
We'll get into detail of that shortly.
Yeah. Jared, yourself?
I just want you to tell me when you've been playing again. No, last this week, last week. It has been a long week, I've been giving lots of love to the good old Vita this week. You guys will be happy to know. I played a really charming game called Thomas Was Alone, which is one of the Plus games. It's on PS3 as well. So
that's a PS3 port to the Vita.
Yeah. So it's Plus. You can get it on PS3 or Vita. I played it on the Vita because it just seemed more suited, and it was. I mean, it's not a long game, just a couple of hours. I finished it in one afternoon. But it was just such a cool game to play through. You guys will both really enjoy it.
I actually played a bit of it myself. It's such a clever little concept.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a little puzzle game, but so I mean, it's got those, it's like little blocks, and each one's got a different, one can jump high, one can double jump, one can act as like a springboard, and you got to use all of them to get to the end of the stage. But it's just done so well, and it's so simple, but I don't know, there's something like the whole soundtrack and the little narration of the characters that's like in the future, and like programming like little viruses, but they come alive, and it's just done so well. They're like little references to random things like Transformers and stuff like that in it, and it was very cool to play through. I finished that, and then I've also just started. I reviewed it I think about a year ago on Xbox, but it's also on Plus Free now. Is Cinemora, which is that shoot 'em up, also like 2D side-scrolling shoot 'em up, which I've started playing on the Vita as well now. I loved it on Xbox. It was a super game, so playing it again, and it looks really nice on the Vita, so it's cool to play there.
Yeah, I actually need to download it. I saw it there. I just haven't got around to it. So
you'll love it, eh? You'll love it. It's such a cool game, and it's done so well. It's all Hungarian voice acting, and then obviously subtitles. But it's just so well done. Very worthwhile playing.
Cool. I'll probably make a plan to get it over this coming weekend, so I'm pretty keen to give it a go. But I'll probably download it this weekend and play it in a year's time at this point.
It's a perfect game just to play like a level here and there. Close the Vita, play a bit later, kind of thing. It's really cool.
Well, look, E3 and the plane trips are around the corner, so that's I think
perfect
when I'll get time to play it. Look, on my side, I've been actually playing very little this past week because I had a friend of mine up, and all we've been doing is playing some multiplayer games. One of them being Rayman Origins. We were playing it like stupid, and I just brought back just how good that game is. So I'm really excited for Legends once again. What I have been playing, and though I promised the readers it would be up on Monday, and with the friend that visited, I just couldn't get around to it, is Deadly Premonition. And I tell you what, I mean, I've got the game right here, and you look at the back of the box, and it says enhanced graphics and updated controls. Now, if this is enhanced graphics and updated controls, I would love to know how terrible the original was, because I tell you what, the graphics look absolutely crap. It looks like worse than most PS2 launch games, and if you look at sort of production values and stuff, and the controls just feel so dated. But the other thing it says in the back is extended storyline, and that is the one thing that's got me pretty intrigued. It's got a really cool story, so obviously as I progress through the game I'll get the review up, but so far the story's got me hooked, outside of the terrible graphics and weird control mechanism. So we'll see what happens when I get to that, but I mean, other than that, I've really not played much.
Yeah, when you say terrible graphics, terrible or dated?
No, terrible for something that's
Plain, just plain
it-
terrible.
No, dude. I mean, if you just, I mean, I played Grid for preview. Okay, I know it's a racer, but I played that for preview, and I went straight to Deadly Premonition. It's like I jumped from like the 2000s through to the 80s in the NES days. You know, that's how it feels. That's just so bad. Yeah, everything's, the graphics have got blurry textures, and I mean the lip syncing is completely out. But I'll get into that next week most likely once I've finished it, and I can give you a good sort of lowdown on it. But look, let's get going to the news of the week that's been breaking, and that is obviously the fact that, or rather the rumors that EA South Africa is closing down. Guys, what do you make of it, eh?
Go for it, guys.
It's pretty sad day or times or whatever. It's they were one of the only, I think they were or are the only international guys who actually physically have a presence here, you know, and aren't going through distributors and what have you. So
Yeah, the only publishers in the country that's locally based.
Except for
and-
Microsoft.
it's-
Microsoft also local, no?
Yeah, true. That's a good point.
But it's a step backwards for us, I guess. I think we can expect to see the EA titles shoot up in price a bit, which is, you know, always a bad thing. But yeah, who do you guys think would take over? Any news on that?
I think that's the biggest point, is that, you know, EA, their game prices have, and particularly the sports games, but I mean their games in general have always been a little bit cheaper than all the, you know, all the other games. And I think, you know, now that it's going to be taken over by someone else, they'll probably be a bit more expensive than it was, which is kind of horrible, I guess, because, you know, it was always a cheaper option. Yeah, it's pretty sad. You know, me being a sports fanatic, you know, I love the sports games. It's a sad day. Look, I don't think it's been 100% confirmed yet, but it seems inevitable. So,
Well, look, I had the opportunity to phone EA to get a comment from them, and their comment was no comment. Which, I mean, read into that what you will, but I mean, was it not the case, they probably would have said, no, look, this is a lie, you know, that's not the truth. So, I mean, look, I mean, right now, no one's actually said it's not in stone yet, but at this point, it looks pretty much to be the case, which is sad. And I mean, as you guys are saying now in regards to the cost, the one thing that EA did was cool. I mean, their games are generally 100 Rand cheaper than most other distributors, and they made sure the other distributors wouldn't put their price up. Now, if whoever else takes over EA and the price goes level with what we see from other distributors, chances are good these other distributors might just increase their costs because they don't see it as a threat anymore. So it's a bit of a scary thought. So yeah, I mean, if you're a gamer out there and you know you buy your FIFAs and your Need for Speeds every year, it's gonna suck. You know, it might cost $100 more now.
And Battlefield, which is massive here.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Also with, I mean, as you say, with next gen around the corner, you know, those games are already going to be pretty expensive. So, you know, it would have been the one distributor that brought games that were a little bit cheaper. They're going to be pricey. I have no idea who's going to take over. I think we can count out Stir because they have Pro Evo, so I can't see them taking it.
Yeah, I can't see Konami being happy with that.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. So,
yeah. I also think
else,
Netherlands got too much on their plate now to do anything about it either. I mean, the rumors are that Apex will take it. I mean, they already deal with some of the titles from EA, so it kind of makes sense that they take it over. But I mean, right now, no one knows. We'll have to wait a week or two to see what the story is. For now, we'll have to just take it as it comes. But it's not great news for us locally, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Whoever it is, be a good middleman and stay loyal and true to your customers and your client base. Keep prices low. We'll all be happy.
We'll love you long time.
For sure.
Okay, cool, guys. We're going to move on to the review of this week, and that is Donkey Kong Country 3. Let me try again. Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D. Garth had the opportunity of reviewing it. I mean, it's basically a port of the Wii version, but it's now in 3D with some extra bits and bobs for the 3DS. Garth, what's it like? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it's look, it's been not quite 3 years, but you know, if you round it off 3 years, Donkey Kong Country Returns came out on the Wii in 2010, and same gameplay basically. You now bash X and Y instead of shake your remotes. Luckily, you don't have to shake your 3DS when you have to do the sort of motions.
So it's made for the hardcore gamer now.
100%, yes. But look, your same Donkey Kong Country style of gaming, platforming is there. And I mean, Dawid, you played the Wii version, and it's brilliant. So yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. Little extras here and there. There are 2 game modes. The one which is called New Mode, original naming convention. But yeah, it sort of makes it a little easier. You've got more health bars, and the difficulty overall, you can really feel the difference. But yeah, then you've got your original mode as well, which takes that away, and yeah, really good stuff.
Garth, if you play the easy mode, I mean, I know the original on the Wii, towards the end it got just about impossible to play that game. What was it like? I mean, when you got towards the end, was it just as difficult, or was it really toned down?
Yeah, no, it's not that toned down. Look, those you get your extra heart piece, so you have 3 heart pieces now with Donkey Kong. And when you get your Diddy Kong sort of power up where he joins you and you can glide along the stages, you end up having 6 instead of 4. And those 2 extra hearts make a big difference. The sort of standard levels aren't as difficult, purely because of the health, but your sort of mining sections when you're in the carts and when you're in your barrel flying up and down, those are as tough as hell. Really difficult.
But I mean, look, at the end of the day, if you're watching this, any of our readers or visitors on the site, I mean, it's a 2D platformer, a co-op one at that, and it's just something that's so scarce these days. It's you know, it's something to treasure just about. The fact that it ported from the Wii over to the 3DS is such a good thing, because I think there are many local people that never played it because, you know, they just never had a Wii or sold it before at launch.
I was just gonna say, you know, I was gonna ask Garth, you know, if I've got my Wii still, of course. I've always wanted to buy the game, but because it's still the exact same price it was when it launched, I've just kind of never bothered, because the idea of paying 600 Rand for a 3-year-old game just doesn't sit well with me. So if I'm gonna buy the 3DS version, is there anything missing from it, from the console version, or is it, you know, it's exactly the same and it's worth getting because it's, I mean, it's cheaper first of all?
No,
actually, I mean, you said it's got extras.
Yeah, it's one of the extras is once you've completed all the stages, you get an additional stage to the game, which is a nice little add-on. But if you haven't played the Wii version, and you know, it's a toss-up between the 2, no choice really. Get the 3DS version. It's great.
And you need the circle pad for it?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
No. Yeah, and also on the 3DS, the use of 3D is really good. I mean, the last game I reviewed was Luigi's Mansion, and the 3D in that's probably the best 3D on the thing. And look, this Donkey Kong Country Returns is really good. Dawid, you'll know that there's very often transitions between the foreground and the background and what have you, and that in 3D really makes a good effect.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I'd like to see that. I really would. I'll probably pick it up at some point, but right now, I mean, Garth, if you finish the Wii version, is it actually worth picking this up, or is it only for newcomers?
It is worth getting again, but I think it's more aimed towards the newcomers. Had I not got it for review, I probably still would have gotten it. It really ports well to the handheld, and worth it. But as I said, a bit more for the newcomers who haven't had the opportunity to play the original.
Okay, cool stuff. Right, let's go on to our developer of the week. And this week we're going to go back in time a bit, and we're going to talk about Core Design, who actually doesn't exist anymore. Guys, does it ring a bell?
Yeah, there's one title, I suppose, that can be linked to that, and that would definitely be Fighting Force, without a doubt. I mean, did they bring out any other games?
No, I mean, it was Fighting Force. That's what it was all about. I mean, the sequel was even better than the original. I mean, what are you talking about?
Yeah, no, that's wow. No, okay, yeah, they were the guys
all
who.
Seriousness.
Yeah,
I mean, look, we know that Tomb Raider was what sort of catapulted them to where they were, and I mean, they did all the sequels right through to Chronicles. I think was their last game, or was it? Did they do Angel of Darkness? I can't even remember.
Angel of Darkness.
What was it? That's right. Okay, that's what sort of buried them.
Yeah, that was their, that's sort of the nail in their coffin. I know. Is it Brett who really enjoyed it? Which Tomb Raider did he really like?
It is Brett. He, for some reason, he loves Angel of Darkness, and he gets really upset when I bash it. But I think he's one of the 10 people in the world who enjoyed it.
I think it's because Lara Croft was wearing like really dark eyeliner and made her look a little goth.
Yeah, he loved the goth style that she was going for. It probably totally worked for him.
We love you, Brett.
Core Design. I mean, it's Tomb Raider, Fighting Force, and there's another game I played which I don't think many people played it. It launched on the PS2, sort of towards launch or just after launch, so to say. And what it was, I can't even remember what the story was about. But you had 4 different characters you could control. You had a captain, like this big robot thing, some chick that could do something, I can't remember what she did, and another guy that was a technician, and he could fix things. So what would happen is you use your D-pad and jump between these players and make your way.
Is this The Sims?
I was going to say Sims or Team Fortress, one of the two.
But it was very cool, and at the time, which was a big deal, is if you had a multi-tap, you could split your screen into 4, and 4 players could take control of each character individually. And I had a mate, and we had a 2-player split screen, so we controlled 2 characters each. And I remember even at the time, it looked kind of dodgy, the game itself, the production values. But it was just so much fun having a mate next to you and like trying to figure out these puzzles. And that to me is probably one of their sort of, a game that went under the radar and never got any recognition.
What is it called?
Project Eden.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like
I said, this is about 2002, around there.
I was still in school.
But yeah, I mean, if you look at everything else they've done, it's all about Tomb Raider. And I mean, Tomb Raider 1 and 2 is known as being the better ones. I enjoyed 3, most people don't. And then Last Revelation, number 4, and Chronicles kind of started losing the plot. But yeah, that's what I remember.
They were sort of around in a really awkward time in gaming, though. Before they did the whole Tomb Raider thing, they were sort of really in that Sega, CD, Jaguar, Saturn sort of stage, and nothing really took off from that aspect. They did have a couple of PlayStation 1 titles, but yeah, as I say, the one that I can really remember is Fighting Force, and that was absolute rubbish. But maybe they were just sort of in the industry, wrong place, wrong time. Pre-Tomb Raider, obviously, because they just blew everything out of the water when it launched.
Well, the thing is, you go play an old Tomb Raider now, and the first thing you realize is just absolutely how terrible those controls are. I think they were in the right place at the right time. I mean, Tomb Raider launched just about alongside Mario in that sort of space of time, and at the time there wasn't a mature, or a game based for mature audience that had you adventuring around and shooting guns and stuff. It was very new, Before that, it was Doom, that was pretty much it.
Sorry, you're referring to Mario 64?
No, I'm referring to Tomb Raider, where there was,
No. When it came out at the same time as Mario, thereabout.
Yes, Mario 64.
Yeah.
So, that's when the 3D world started taking place and so forth. And I think they just hit it at the right time. I mean, if it was a developer like 6 months after them at another concept, they would have hit it at the same time. So it was just their luck, I think.
Yeah, and of course, the PC pervs could always get that little nude skin for Lara Croft as well, which
is why it was really successful.
Absolutely, that's why. I mean, little triangle breasts, and wow, that was pretty hot, man.
And I remember on the PS2, you could do it, but like you'd get a magazine, you're like, I can see Lara Croft naked. You're like, oh, so exciting. And then, oh no, but you need an action replay to do it. I'm like, oh, bastards.
Yeah, I don't think we missed out too much on that one.
I mean, an extra few pixels, missing. That's about it.
Yeah.
Cool, guys. And the last thing we're going to move on to tonight is our retro game of the week. And this week we're discussing Batman on the NES. You guys play it?
Yeah, very, very, very much so. First thing that stands out was the soundtrack.
First thing that stands out is RoboCop.
That soundtrack, but you put the card.
Should we just discuss RoboCop
and
instead?
it was
Might be easier.
You had breaking up a lot.
Just a tad.
Nah. Carry on.
Okay, now you seem good. You can continue.
Okay, no, I was just saying the soundtrack off the bat was just dark and dreary and really typical Batman type thing. Look, it was based around the movie, and you immediately got that feel as soon as you started playing it. Did you ever finish it, Dawid?
That's a funny story. I mean, look, Batman was exceptionally difficult. You make it, past the first stage. I think it was called the Streets of Desolation or something like that. And if you made it past the first stage, it just became absolutely absurd, the difficulty. I remember you'd run out of those bullets, those Batman. Well, remember the punches were called Batman, and then you could change to the bullets, and then those like discs that spread.
And your batarang as well. Those
and your batarang.
your
but I mean, once you run out of all those different weapon utilities, you end up with the Batman, which is the punch, and that became quite difficult because that means everything became close combat, and those guys would like beat the hell out of you.
I must admit as well, I never managed to finish it. I always used to get to the third level boss, and I could never ever get past it. It was ridiculously difficult. The character, the boss fight was sort of a guy with an electric arm and sort of jumped around and wished his arm. I don't even know if it's a licensed DC character. I think they might have just made that up for the game. But it was tough as hell. In later years, I actually went and found a walkthrough. Back then, we didn't have that sort of luxury, and I actually looked at that third boss fight, and it was actually really, really simple. But I haven't played it since. So one day, bucket list, maybe try finish it.
Well, what we did back in the day is we discovered by pressing start and select together on the menu screen and just continually pressing it would confuse the game. It would drop you into a stage like further into the game, and it would randomly do it. So what you would do is you would get to, let's say, the stage 3.1, and then the next one will be 3.3, and then suddenly 4, and then 1.2, and all over the place. So what we would do is we keep on pressing. If it's not the right stage, we just reset. It goes so quick back in the day. You just hit the reset button, you keep pushing start and select until we get to a stage that's sort of far in, and then we're like, okay, cool, we're happy, we can continue from here, kind of thing. So remember that to continue. So it's a little fun.
I honestly never knew that, but yeah, crazy.
But yeah, I mean, look, the other side of that Batman game, to me personally, and that's why I remember the Streets of Desolation, is because of the amazing soundtrack. I mean, I think we ran that Top 10 Tuesday where I did the retro songs. I think it came in at number 4 or 5 or something like that, and it's just one of the best retro songs of all time. I mean, when you jump in there, you feel like Batman and you're going to beat the snot out of everything. And it's not too long and then you're on the floor, but you give it another bash because the song's so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And in your sort of cutscenes that you had back then, you had that close-up of the Batmobile and shooting into the garage, and the music just suited it so well. It really did have that sort of Tim Burton music movie feel to it. Really, really cool.
That weird as ass feel.
Did that Batman have nipples? I can't remember.
No.
No.
That was the wonderful Joel Schumacher who decided that Batman must have nipples.
Well, even
Batman running around with 2 pixels, jumping about. Or 2 sprites.
They could put him in the Tomb Raider game and they could,
Yeah, well, Robin needs to eat, so it's quite essential that he has nipples. I mean, what can you do?
Oh man, terrible.
Yeah. Did you play much of it, Joe?
I remember playing the game. Like, got vivid memories of actually playing it, and like you guys say, with the soundtrack, I remember that really well. The actual game, I can't remember much about it. I remember playing it. I remember the soundtrack, but I don't remember too much about the actual gameplay in that. I remember it being difficult. I seem to remember some section where the Joker falls into the acid, I think, but I might be mixing it up with a different game.
I don't.
Maybe in this game, could you wall jump? Because this is what you can do in this one.
I can't remember that. I really ain't. When it came out, probably too young to remember it that well. But I do remember playing it. I remember it being a cool game. But I was curious. God says he might play it again. Where would you play it? Or do you have an emulator or something?
No, I actually still have one of those little knockoff NES consoles.
Oh, serious?
Yeah, those Famicom rip-off things.
Cool.
I actually have Batman on that. So. And
it still works perfectly.
Is it a single Batman cartridge, or is it like a 42-in-1?
No. It's Batman. It's a 1-in-1. I actually don't use.
Oh, Goss has gone missing, Tony. God, we don't want to know about your stupid Batman story, okay?
That's great. Sure.
Anyway, guys, I think that's what we're going to call that a night. To our readers and the people watching, just a reminder, we got Freebie Friday up later today by the time you watch this, and it'll be at 3 o'clock. You can win a copy of Dragon's Dogma, Dark Horizon, which is like the sort of, I think, the DLC and stuff that's been included with one big game. I can't remember.
Add-on, yeah.
To be honest, I mean, I never played the original. But we got it on 360 and PS3, so 2 copies to give away. And then next week we got something else cool up for grabs, but you'll have to hang around just after 3 to see what it is. Other than that, guys, anything else you'd like to say, mention?
I'm good.
Cool. Garth
Is
just
Garth
keeping
able
up
to
with
talk?
You and listen to his Batman story. Garth, show us your awesome glasses before we leave. The viewers has to see it.
Am I alive again? Am I up and running?
Yeah, no, you've been live for a while. Have you been picking your nose or something?
Maybe.
Oh, there you
wow.
go.
Yeah,
There's are quite something, eh?
I got a style every now and then, you know. So
Yeah, you look like a
bring out,
hillbilly.
bring out the skull glasses.
Oh,
I have to ask,
Brett,
why do you
Brett
have
will be
this?
so happy. He's not even be bothered about Tomb Raider, Angel or Darkness. It's all about your glasses now.
I'm taking goth to a new level.
Anyway, guys, thank you for the chat tonight. And to our viewers, we'll see you guys next week. Cheers.